show of hands, who here has experienced true love? Oh, gosh. I can see quite a few awkward hands going up. That'll save you a difficult conversation on the drive home. The idea is that once we've found our true love, we need look no more. We found them, they found us. Job done, we've won at love. The suggestion is that the suggestion is that we should never love anyone else. We have Plato's Aristophanes to thank or blame for this notion. He tells us about these odd spherical creatures. They populated the world before us, and they had 4 legs and 4 arms, and 2 heads and two sets of what an Irish mammy might call the naughty bits. Aristophanes goes on to tell us how these creatures started to develop a bit of an opinion of themselves. They thought they'd rebel against the gods, but Zeus, having none of this, cleaves them in half, separating them into individual bipedal creatures destined forevermore to roam the earth in search of their other half, their one true love. However, clearly Zeus was a bit of a romantic, for feeling he'd been a little bit harsh, he thought he'd ease their torment ever so slightly by moving their genitals around to the front, so that when they found their other half, they could smush naughty bits whilst they embraced. It's a wonderful tale, but a tale it remains. Fortunately for us, love is far easier to find than Aristophanes has made out. Most of us here had declared by a show of hands that we had experienced true love. Now, that's the wonderful thing about love. We've all arrived here via different paths, but it seems whatever path we take in life, we almost always find love. So I'm going to use a slimmer, much more handsome version of Leonard here for my example. This version of Leonard, he has recently graduated, he's ready to tackle grown-up life. And he's been offered 3 jobs, one in his hometown, one in the big city, and one in a whole other country. Now, I think we all have people in our lives, or know people, who've followed each of these paths. And each of those people have gone on to find love. So whatever path young Leonard here takes, chances are he's going to find his true love. You see, it's always been curious to me how, whether we travel the world or if we never left our hometown, people seem to find love. This got me wondering, is there just one true love out there for me? Or is there one true love for each path I might have taken? Or is the potential for true love, is it simply everywhere? In a fit of madness and romance, I went straight to the math. I wanted to see if I could figure out how many true loves were out there for me, or for any of us. So the idea revolves around the notion that there's one true love out there somewhere for each of us, and that most people believe that they'll find this kindred other during their lifetime. I'm inclined to agree that we'll find a kindred other. But if we are to find such a significant person from within those whom we encounter in our lifetimes, then it's reasonable to assume that if we passed our lives encountering a different group of people, we should also find true love there. So the simple version of all of this is that there's at least one true love in each encounterable group. Simply put, if we take the total population of potentially suitable romantic partners and divide it by the population of potential partners in our encounterable group, we should be able to figure out how many true loves are out there for each of us. Shall we do some math? Don't all holler at once. You give me flashbacks to teaching. To find the total population of potentially suitable romantic partners, we need to start with the world population. To remove minors from the equation, we'll include an age quotient, or an AQ. An example here might be where the UN tells us that 66% of the world's population are over the age of 20. That would give us an AQ of 0.66 if we wish to include only those over 20. Of these adults, it's reasonable to assume that gender or some such identity would be a factor for many of us, so we'll put in a gender quotient, GQ. A simple example here might be if we took a theoretical gay or heterosexual person, they'd potentially be interested in only half of the population, giving us a GQ of a half or 0.5, because who wants to deal with fractions? So now we'll have a look at what happens under the line. We're going to start there with the Dunbar number. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar suggested that about 150 is the cognitive limit to the number of people with whom we can maintain stable social relationships. Now, of this number, not everyone will be a viable partner. Just like the total population of potential partners, we have to adjust for minors, for gender preference, if we have one, and for close genetic relations, because, ew. With these adjustments made, we end up with a non-viable number of 105. Out of our original 150, leaves us with 45. Now, the final variable that we need to consider is the number of times in our lives that the Dunbar number is refreshed. I'm going to call this the cyclical number, and I'd argue that the cyclical refreshing of the Dunbar number is most influenced by life events such as moving house, sort of geographically relocating, or changing jobs, kind of a professional or social circle reshuffling. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics tells us that the median time spent in a job is 4.1 years. So in a 40-year work life, that's about 9 moves. In a UK finance survey, we're told that between the ages of 25 to 45, we move house on average 3 times, with a dramatic reduction in the number of moves over the age of 45. Now, to allow for the likelihood that each of these moves will only cause a portion of the Dunbar number to be refreshed, we'll go with a conservative cyclical number of 5. And all of this brings us to our equation for how many one true loves are out there for each of us. Will we put some numbers in? Okay. If we hold that a single true love can be found from those whom we encounter in our lifetimes, then statistically, we can argue that there are, depending on your particular set of variables, 11.88 million. Settle down, you'll scare away the poets and philosophers. Now, I recognize that the variables are somewhat conjectural, but it does call into question our enduring attachment to Plato's account of Aristophanes' account of the origins of one true love. The Drake equation has never given us a definitive answer as to how many advanced civilizations exist in the Milky Way, but it does suggest it's probable. So in the same way, the math is simply saying that the potential for true love is far greater than we think. Well, almost 12 million times greater than we think. And this through the lens of one true love. Imagine how many more there might be if we didn't feel so confined to convention. So, Leonard, why is this important? Aside from being a great way to upset your partner on Valentine's Day. Don't do that. Why is this important? Well, would you sit across from your one true love and feast while they starved? Or would you close the door on them and have them sleep in the streets while you rest in your warm bed? Would you rather work with than compete against your one true love? Throughout the course of my life, there are almost 12 million people with whom I might find true love. On any given day, in any given town, there's someone with whom you could share a life of love. So when you go back out into the world, and the next time you feel frustrated or downright rage-filled behind someone in a queue, or someone cuts you off in traffic, or you feel that a flutter of attraction in a kind act or a softly spoken word, you might just be encountering one of your many, many true loves. And this, I believe, this is an idea worth living. Thank you.